What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Longo, and we are going to cover how to convert a quadratic equation from standard form into intercept form. And to do that, we are just going to factor. So if you know how to factor any quadratic equation, you're pretty much done. We just have one more step to go. So this is just an example of a straightforward trinomial where we need to think of two numbers that multiply to 8 but add to 6. So we're just going to have an x plus 4 and an x plus 2. The only difference is we just throw a y equals in front, and that is an example of an intercept form equation. Now, to state our intercepts, all you have to do is act like you're solving. So this would be our x plus 4 is equal to 0, x plus 2 is equal to 0, so we get x is equal to a negative 4 and a negative 2. But when we write our intercepts, it would be 4, 0, or negative 4, 0, and negative 2, 0. So that's it. You just factor and state your intercepts after you're done. So the next one, the first thing we would want to do is factor out a 2, leaving us with x squared minus 3x minus 10. Think of two numbers that multiply to a negative 10 but add to a negative 3. That would give us an x minus 5 and an x plus 2. Of course, we have the 2 in front. Make sure you throw the y equals in there, because if you do not have y equals, then you do not have an equation. So that is an equation in intercept form, and our intercepts would just be 5, 0 and a negative 2, 0. All right, and that's all we are doing with this day worth of notes. So you have 4 more examples, and what I would encourage you to do right now is pause the video, try them on your own. As soon as you feel ready, click play, and we will see what you got. So go ahead and pause it and give it a shot. Okay, so for this third example, we would just have y is equal to, and this would be an x plus 6 and an x minus 6, because we would factor that using the difference of two squares. So our intercepts would be a negative 6, 0 and a positive 6, 0. Now the cool thing with these is you could always double check with your graphing calculator by just typing these into y1, the standard form, and then seeing if it gives you the same intercepts that you get by hand. This fourth example here, I would recommend using splitting the middle term, where we would multiply the 3 and the negative 10 and get a negative 30 x squared. And what would multiply to a negative 30 but add to 1? That would be a 6x and a negative 5x. Of course, you bring down your first term and bring down your last term and group those guys together. Factor out your GCF of a 3x, leaving you with an x plus 2. Factor out your negative 5, leaving you with an x plus 2. We can see the insides are the same. So we just take our leading coefficients, make our own. So we have y is equal to 3x minus 5 and x plus 2, leaving us with intercepts of positive 5/3, 0 and a negative 2, 0. All right, so if you got that one, you're pretty good in terms of factoring, because that's the hardest one on this page. This example right here, you should ask yourself what adds to a negative 6 but multiplies to a positive 9. That would just be an x minus 3 and then another x minus 3. So since those are the exact same, we would just say y is equal to x minus 3 quantity squared, which means we only have one intercept at 3, 0. Again, if you were to type that into the graphing calculator, you would have a graph that looks a little bit like this. It would just touch the x-axis once at the coordinate 3, 0. And again, you can check those for all of these. If you were to look at this one in the graphing calculator, you would have two intercepts, one at a positive 6, one at a negative 6. So don't ever hesitate to use your graphing calculator to check to make sure if you're doing things correctly. Now, this last one, we can't do it. because it's prime. That doesn't mean there aren't any intercepts, okay? So that does not mean we don't have any, but it's just not factorable. So in terms of factoring, we would just call this prime, but in terms of writing it in intercept form, we just can't do it, okay? There could be, but for now, if we can't factor it, you just can't write it in vertex or in an intercept form. All right, well, that's it for this video on converting from standard to intercept form. Remember, to do it, all you really have to do is have good factoring skills. This is Longo, and I'm out. See you, bye.